Welcome to Emotional Support Water Bottle with Hannah and Ailish. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ailish.
And we both have been on vacation this week.
Yep. We both took trips separately.
Yes. We should have taken trips together, but we don't.
We literally never have.
Oh, well, do you want me to start?
Yeah.
All right. So, I've been off all week. So.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you were off all week.
Yeah, we took, because my grandma, who was our childcare, was off this week. So me and my husband both took it off.
Nice.
And it was my husband's birthday weekend, 30.
Finally.
My youngster husband.
6 months.
But so we started it off and we took the boys to Urban Air.
Oh.
So it's like a jump place.
Did you go up to the one in Cleveland? Or Oh,
there's one over my way, yes. And that was a lot of fun. I would actually recommend going if you could to like a Sky Zone thing. And it was very parent friendly.
That's nice.
But I mean, we just had a lot of fun doing that, honestly.
What did your younger boy do?
He was allowed to like get in everything. Yeah. So I mean, they had like all kinds of stuff. They had like the trampoline, which he was not happy when I was jumping 1,000,000 feet in the air with him in my arms. I literally was having so much fun on those trampolines, though. I'm like, all I need is a stick horse, man. I'd be freaking in heaven. But they also had like a foam pit.
Oh, yeah.
And like a ball pit. So we sat and they had like all this stuff that you could like climb on. It was crazy, but he loved being in the ball pit.
Aww.
And then Tuesday, we didn't do anything Monday. Tuesday, we went to the pumpkin patch. That was a lot of fun, too. And I got my outdoor decorations, so that's all set up. And then today I went and got a mum.
Nice. So you're very fall. You're very ready.
And so then we went to Chicago Wednesday through Friday. And Wednesday night, when we got in, I got to go to the Celebrity Memoir Book Club live show, which was really fun.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. And they did like, because they're also comedians, they did stand up. Both of them did. And then they did like some games and they did, which were fun. It was like kind of like guess the celebrity memoir that they've done. Those were cute. And then they did another game. Oh, we had to like vote between which celebrity memoir. Like it'd be like, who would you want to go on the Chicago boat tour with? Yeah. And then they'd each get a card and then have to like convince you to like which one they should do for the celebrity memoirist. And then we'd like clap and vote. And it was just really good.
So did they record a podcast episode or
no?
No. Okay.
They did read like an essay from Lena Dunham, but I think they switch it up all the time. And so then they gave like their typical commentary that they would during their podcast episode, but I was laughing pretty hard. They were pretty, like, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
You know? It's so weird to see people that you only see online.
Right.
Like in person, because it's like you see their bodies. Like, I don't know. And like, not that. I don't know. It's just weird to see people in real life.
Like they're actual living people.
Yeah, it's like, oh, and then they sound the same and act this. I don't know. It's just so weird. But then I got to take a picture with them at the end, which I'll post. I did post on our story, but
we'll post another. So you guys are friends now.
We definitely are. But it was a lot of fun. I wasn't really sure what like podcast live shows are like. And I guess probably everybody does them differently.
A little different, yeah.
But
because I know like sometimes like when Heather McDonald was a stand-up comedian first too, like them, but like she'll do full-on stand-up shows and then separately do like a live Juicy Scoop.
I think that's really interesting too. I'd love to go to one of her.
Oh my gosh, I know. If she hasn't like come out to our area, if she ever does, we have to go.
I know, because the closest she's been is like New York.
Yeah,
which
I know.
It's kind of doable.
Yeah, it is. We would just have to plan it a little more. Like that couldn't be a one day.
Yeah, drive over there, get it. But it was a lot of fun, and it was just fun to like see them, and they were really nice. And
it's cool that they did a little meet and greet at the end too,
because I feel like they're right at that. Like, they can still do that.
Right.
And everything.
Were there a lot of people there?
Yeah, the venue room wasn't huge. Like, there actually wasn't a bad seat, like, everywhere you were. Like, you were close enough to them. I mean, there was... I'm not good at guessing, like, numbers, maybe, like, 50. I don't know.
But it was a little more intimate then.
It was, nice. Which was awesome, because I wonder what Heather's are like. I feel like there's probably a lot of people.
Well, because listening to her podcast, like, I hear her say the locations, but I've never looked them up to see, like, is it big? Like,
right.
But usually comedy clubs and stuff are smaller.
Yeah, they can be.
Like, I don't know. Next time she says
we'll have to look it
I
up.
want to
look up the venue. But
or is it different when she does a stand-up versus a live? Yeah, I don't know.
That is interesting. And then Thursday was my husband's birthday, so we did a river tour. That was really cool.
Yeah, that looked cool.
And it was such a nice day out, and it was just so relaxing. And then we just kind of walked around down by the river. That was really pretty too. And then we went to the Museum of Ice Cream.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, I would say it was kind of a ripoff. Yeah. You do get 5 ice cream treats when you're walking around.
Oh, do you?
Like, they're smaller. Like, at first we got a Dove bar. Then we got like a small cone of like gelato. That was like strawberry. It was good. And then we got like an orange float thing. And then what else did we get? Oh, we got this crime. This was the biggest crime to humanity I have ever experienced in my life. You get this cute little, what looks like an ice cream sandwich, okay? But it looks like a hot dog because you're in like this like room. Like they had, it's kind of hard to explain, but okay. And then they put this like fun yellow frosting on, and then this thing that looks like relish.
So they're making it for you like individual. Okay.
Yeah, so it looks like a hot dog.
But it's an ice cream sandwich.
But it's an ice cream sandwich. Wrong! It is a literal hot dog bun with vanilla ice cream in it and mustard and relish.
What?
It was such a crime. Like, I was so heartbroken. I could not believe they did it. Yeah, I bit into it because I thought it was yellow frosting and gummy worms. and a cookie. But
why did they like not
I don't know,
preface that?
No, and my husband was like, what's... I'm like, there's no way that's really relish. And my husband's like, what is that? And she's like, you'll see. And then,
so they were tricking you.
It was a full-blown trick. I mean, I was disgusted. Like, I've been into... At first, it was like, oh, that's funny. Yeah. I'm like, that is really...
That's...
relish
gross.
And mustard. It was
but also the bread.
It was a literal hot dog bun, but it was pink and cute. And it was so awful. It was literally like so mean.
Did your husband bite into it?
No,
after you did.
No, he's not really like a sweets person, so he really only got like 2
He might have liked this then.
Yeah, like no kidding. It was got the salt.
That is so gross. What the heck? Were other people like...
Well, I mean, people were... I even saw one lady just like fully like eating it. I'm like, that's an ice cream sandwich. It was like, no.
That woman was probably an actress. Like in on the bit.
Probably. It was so gross.
Ew.
And then we just got regular like hard ice cream or whatever. And that was good. But I was like, that really... And then it was like... You taste relish the rest of the day.
Yeah, that is disgusting. I don't even like relish, and I don't typically like mustard. So that would...
I do sometimes, but not... I mean, this was like...
You don't like it
awful,
on your ice cream?
Awful. But overall, I would say it was kind of like... There was a lot of cute spots to take pictures, and they had like cute stuff. But I was expecting even more of like a museum. And of course, they have the sprinkle pool,
yeah, the pit,
which again, I got in, but I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, like you can take a picture, I guess. Yeah.
I think my husband did. I mean, there was a lot of cute, like, I don't know. And there's like a group of like middle schoolers or early high schoolers, and they were having like a good time. Like, I feel like it was good for that, or if you had like a little kid.
Right. Well, remember when that first came out and it was like such a big thing? I think, I can't remember if it was like in New York first, because it's like a traveling thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it stays permanent, does it?
I think, Well, that's what I thought initially, but no, I think they have 4 locations.
Oh, that are
now.
permanent?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
when I was in San Francisco, they had one there, and I would pass by every day on my way to work, and I was like, oh, I want to go. But then I just didn't.
Good thing you didn't.
Yeah.
Because
I didn't miss
out. A scam.
But I wonder if they do that at every location.
I know. I was like, or if maybe they switch the stuff. But, I mean, it was, I don't know. I was like destroyed by that. Oh, and I just want to say a funny Uber driver story. Do you have any funny Uber driver stories or not really?
Not really. I don't think so. Just a lot of like drunken Uber driver stories, but none of them are that funny.
Well, we had this guy and he was like jacked, like, I mean, huge muscle. And he was like, obviously city driving is different. Yeah. But he would like, it was just the way he drove was so funny. But when he was gonna cut in, he would like get out lean out the window with his muscles and like stare at people. Like, it was so awkward. It was kind of like, what are you gonna do about it? I'll just beat you up. Yeah, and it was just really weird.
That's funny.
But he did that so many times.
Did he talk to you guys?
No, not at all. And we did like the ride share or whatever. And there's another lady in there, and no, he was not talking. But it just was like laugh when he was like,
I gotta show my dominance.
Literally. But he was just crazy driving.
It is.
And then he'd like get in the turn lane to cut in front of people in the straight lane, and it was just funny. But I was like, is this guy okay? But anyway, then we came home the next morning, and it was just relaxing. And
good. Aww.
That's our vacation story.
Fun little time. Chicago, I just really like Chicago.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. If I would do it over, we were talking about I would stay like in the downtown
city,
area.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was fine in the Wicker Park area, and we could walk to like the restaurant so easy. And the location for the show was over there.
Right, so it made sense why you stayed there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should go. Well, we talked about it like last summer, and then it was just like a freaking pipe dream where we were like, we should do this, and then we never followed through. But not this year.
No.
We followed through.
Not these last 4 months, but come January, we're following through with everything.
My vacation was good. I was in Ireland for a week with my family because my cousin was getting married. And I mean, it was nice. I got to spend time with my Nana. My dad is still over there, so he stayed like an extra week.
Oh.
And it was just nice. Like, my cousin was so happy to be getting married. So that was really cute to see that. And
I love cousin weddings.
Yeah, like, and it just, it wasn't like it was unexpected that he would be happy to get married. Like, of course he would be. But just because when it's like
a guy sometimes.
Yeah. Oh dear. Like, he was, they made, like, when we went over to his parents' house in the morning where they were getting ready, and my dad made a joke like, oh, there's no turning back now. And he's like, oh, I don't even want to. Aww. Like, it was just cute.
Which cousin was it again? Did I remember?
Yeah, he came out here before the one that's an only child like me that came out when we were in like second grade, first grade. So you probably wouldn't remember.
That's really ringing a bell. That one.
He came to school with us, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he came.
Oh, I vaguely remembered that.
Yeah. I don't really want to shout him out on the pod because I don't know if he would want that. But
we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just, it was nice, and he was just excited and happy the whole evening. So that was nice to see. And yeah, the weather was pretty good. So that was nice too. Good. There were a couple days that were kind of bad, but overall it wasn't cold or anything.
Oh, that's good.
Almost like refreshing to leave the heat of here to go to somewhere a little bit more mild. I really didn't take a lot of videos or pictures, but we're gonna like put what we have together.
Try to make another cool TikTok.
So yeah, I was ready to get back to work though, just because it's like an awkward time to leave, and I knew I was going to come back to like a bunch of stuff, and I had like 165 emails when I got back because I didn't look the whole time I was away, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even get through these. But yeah, now I feel like I'm back in the swing of things, and I'm over the little bit of jet lag, so
nice.
Yeah. Well, the one big thing that happened was it did release this week, didn't it? Or was it end of last week? I think it was, well, when we're recording this, it was earlier this week with Alix Earle and
I think it was Wednesday and Thursday, like the 20th and the 21st.
So it was this week we're recording. We're recording on a Saturday, so.
Switching it up.
So this has been like a huge thing that has taken over social media for like, I don't know, 2 weeks before this. And it is the collab with Alix Earle and Alex Cooper and Call Her Daddy. And Alex Cooper kind of made like a little subsidiary for other podcasts. Yeah,
so it's her, but it's still through Spotify.
I would assume, confused. But I'm not 100% because isn't it something like, I thought it was a company also with her fiance.
Oh, that
so
could be.
I don't know if it is through Spotify, and I honestly haven't like looked into it. I know,
I guess I forgot to do that.
But it's Alix Earle and another girl that I don't know, but I think she's popular in Europe.
Yeah, that's my understanding of it, but.
And they are doing podcasts under a company or a production company that is run by Alex Cooper and her fiance, and Alix Earle's is called Unwell. Right?
Or no, it's called Hot Mess.
But the company is Unwell. God.
It's confusing.
So yeah, we listened to both of the episodes.
Yeah. What did you think of the Call Her Daddy episode?
Okay, well, I guess this might have just been me, but I wasn't expecting it to be that format. Like,
no, it was not very, and I've seen some other people say, well, they kind of said it more about Alix Earle's thing, but it wasn't like a podcast. It was more like a vlog.
Because I don't typically watch her videos unless it's like, unless I'm like really interested in the person, or if I was like getting ready and I would have it on and I'd have it open. But most of the time when I listen to podcasts, it's in the car, so I don't have the video playing. So it's like nice to not feel like you're missing content when it's just like the visual is an extra. But she also did this with her Post Malone.
So I wondered, is this what she's gonna do for season 4?
Because she kind of did a rebrand for season 4 too. So I don't know, but
like these kind of like, I'm gonna be with you a day in the life type thing.
And I don't know, I guess it's fine. It just isn't necessarily like what I'm fully interested in. So like
it's just a weird choice for a podcast or like the podcast format. And I mean, we've tried to do like a vlog podcast before,
but that was more because we just had a lot going on.
So it's like I kind of get what they're like doing, but I find it hard. I don't know. It was kind of like, how could you not watch it? Like I didn't not watch it. So what would it be? What was it like just listening?
It was, there were parts I skipped through because I'm like the beginning part, with her when she was like meeting the family. Like I just skipped through all that. I mean, and I guess I don't dislike Alix Earle. Like when her TikToks pop up, like I'll watch them. I actually think that she does have a good personality and is fun.
I definitely think she's very charming and she seems really nice.
Yeah, I think so too. But like I don't feel invested with her, and I didn't really care about her family. Like to meet them, like, so I just skipped through all that, and I don't know if they did anything else. But then I stopped when they were at like they were doing interview style again, like at the bleachers of, I don't know, her high school. I don't even know if that's where they were. But, and then from there, it was kind of easy to listen to. And then once they like went to Miami, then it was like, okay, I had to fast forward a little bit more. They were doing the get ready thing. And then the whole time when they like were actually out, I just skipped through that whole thing because it was just like,
it's just
noises.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. I felt overall the vibe of that episode, like, I don't think that their energies really vibe and coexist. Like, Alex Cooper felt such chaotic energy.
Yeah, she's definitely a jock girl.
Yes.
Where they're like aggressive. And I do feel like Alix Earle is a lot more, I don't know, like relaxed.
Yeah. So and even just with their conversations, it's like Alex Cooper is more like, okay, let's go and do that. Blah, 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 blah. Right. And it's like, whoa, like intensity is up to a freaking 12. And then Alix Earle is like answering stuff and she's more like level. And, you know, she's still fun, but.
Right. It's just different.
It's more like toned down. Yeah. Or just like, okay, let's chill. Right.
And like, I think Alex Cooper would be a good like hype woman for someone. Right. And I felt like she seemed really excited to like have this new venture with Alex
I mean,
Earle.
she should be like, it's a big thing for sure.
Yeah, I thought the overall episode was, I mean, it was like kind of funny, but I don't know. It just, I guess if I was more familiar with Alix Earle, I would have appreciated it more.
I didn't think it was interesting listening to her talk about like her family dynamic because I didn't realize like who her dad had cheated with.
I can't remember how I found that out, if I was listening to something or what. So I do think that is an interesting story to have, but I think when you're gonna put it in with like, let's go
everything
party
else
in Miami, I know it's kind of like I forgot about that they even did that.
I know it really should have been completely separate episodes because the vibes were all over the place.
It was, and then it was like, no, let's go sit on the beach. No,
let's go sit. I know it was.
Let's sit on the swings. Let's look at the chickens.
I also just like, and I don't know. We've talked about this before. We're like, I don't really care about what other people are doing like sexually.
Right.
And it's not that I like feel weird hearing that or talking about it, but it's just like I don't really feel like it's any of my business.
Right.
And so, and it's one thing to like with Sex and the City, how like that show was kind of doing something like different and making things like, hey, it's okay, like girlfriends talk about this. Right. But then when it's being done like in such a like aggressive manner, it just kind of made me feel uncomfortable. And then Alix Earle's like, what, like 23 or something? And I'm just
like a young girl.
I don't really need to be listening about her sex life.
I know, it's like, what's your body count?
I was like I was literally listening to that and I'm like, please do not answer, like just for the sake of your own, like don't. And she was like, for privacy I'm not gonna say, but like it isn't anything crazy.
I know, and it's like, I get like it's like call her daddy, but at the same time she's gotten away from some of that stuff too. So then to like bring it in, like I feel like she almost was pushing for Alix Earle to be like the old caller daddy.
I agree.
Like, and let's talk about partying and hooking up.
Right. And I mean, I don't know, maybe Alex Cooper was trying to relive the glory days.
I know, that's
it kind of felt like that vibe. But even Alix Earle was like, I never talk about this stuff. Right. So it feels kind of weird. And I think the main reason why she was because they were drinking and it's like inhibitions are down a little bit.
Right.
But and again, it's like she probably doesn't have any problem talking with her friends about that. Right. But then when it's out for everybody to hear.
Right. And I feel like if I would have believed, like I'm sure they're friends to an extent, but it's like if it would have been like the scene of her with her friends talking about all this, I think it would have like played out a little differently.
Right. I don't know. So again, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having conversations like that. It's just like, that's not really what I would tune in to listen to. You know, I just... I don't need to know that about you. Like, I don't feel like anyone needs to share that or like I deserve to know all that. If you're anything like us, you love to sneak a little bit of that raw cookie dough out of the bowl before you bake it. You know it's bad for you, but it's just so good that you can't help it. Well, now there's a company that is making raw cookie dough that is actually safe to eat, and it is made with good for you ingredients. At Dough, they make cookie doughs that taste amazing. They're vegan, they're gluten-free, and they are enhanced with vitamins and supplements that can help with immunity, your skin, and mood support. The best part about these is that you can eat it right out of the tub, or you can spoon it out and bake it in just 8 or 9 minutes. They also have some delicious donut holes that we recently tried on the podcast, and these are perfect if you want to bring them to work or even put them in a lunchbox. They're enhanced with some more vitamins that can help increase energy and metabolism, and let me tell you, they were so good. We tried the chocolate and the vanilla ones, and they were just amazing. So be sure to try Dough at eatdough.com, and if you use our promo code ESWBPOD, you will receive 10% off, and you can use free shipping on orders over $30 for free shipping. So that's eatdough.com, and dough is spelled DEUX, and use ESWBPOD at checkout for a nice discount.
Then her actual episode, the hot mess episode.
I actually enjoyed her episode more than the Call Her Daddy one. I did think that the ending part, and then I guess it kind of ended up being the ending of the hot mess episode too, with we have to get the pictures off the smartphone. That was such a lame
I know, and I'm like,
bit.
Is this even real?
I know, I thought it was so dumb. And it was okay, what's a little escapade we can go on? And this is going to be a fun storyline. Or yeah, we had all these nude pictures, which it's no, you said that they weren't even
I know,
that.
And then you're like, well, they're just goofing pictures, but they're still nudes, and it's
But why on earth would you ever leave that on a fridge when you move out?
I know, I thought that too. I was like, wait, and then I was like, okay, so could they actually see them, the guys that had moved into the house? Could they actually go in and see it, or there was
clearly they had, or maybe this was all just a setup stage thing. No, but then Alix Earle was if now I'm glad that I was able to delete those, because look at there's these parties this weekend in Miami, and these photos would be everywhere. I'm like, okay, if this is real and these boys already moved into the house, they already made a little comment about the smart fridge, they already would have taken snaps of that and sent it everywhere. So I just thought it was silly.
I know. And then it was kind of well, of course they're gonna let Alex Cooper and Alix Earle come into their house. So it's I don't know, it was let's just say we used to live here, and it's well,
and you've got a bottle of tequila, this is getting slightly off, but just something that I was thinking about when I was listening to these and I was looking at their Instagrams, and it's they just have such pretty privilege.
I know.
And it's just we're two skinny hot blondes, and that's nothing, that's who they are, and that's fine, whatever. But I feel they just when they talk about their roster of athletes and all this stuff, it's just okay,
it's not relatable.
And it's it doesn't even have to be relatable, right? Their life doesn't have to be relatable if it's not, but it's just the way they talk about it as if everyone experiences this. I will never date an athlete. I will never go on a helicopter date.
I'll never be at Drake's birthday party waiting outside.
It's just, I don't know. It just feels weird. And even in the Call Her Daddy episode where they're oh yeah, we realized that we were entwined with the same person, and we were talking about Alix Cooper apparently has run through a ton of athletes, or at least she claims. It's just I feel the reason why you even get that is because you're hot blondes that post on social media, and then these athletes just slide into your DMs. We're not getting any slides.
No. And it's Alex Cooper was also an athlete too. So it's like she's like in the mix of all this. And I don't know. It just seems like, it's like, oh, I don't know. I can't relate.
I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's like I'm jealous on one hand of like, wow, what a fun experience that would be. But then on the other hand, I'm just like, why are you being like braggy about it?
I know.
It's just like, weird.
I hooked up with all these hot, famous men.
Right. But then you won't say the name. No. You know, it's like, I don't know.
It's like, what's going on here? I know it definitely is like like, it just feels like back in the day when like an influencer would like, you'd follow their vlogs and stuff. They were still kind of like normal for a while, and this is like we're beyond that. Like she grew up, like if we're just talking about Alix Earle, it's like she grew up rich, and so she's gonna have this fun life, no matter what. And now she just gets the extra bonus of like Alex Cooper backing her,
right? And kind of what we were talking about like the other day about like teens of today and like young women of today, where like she obviously grew up wealthy, like you just said, but like she's so beautiful, but it's like, you know, that she also like got her lips done, and she probably gets a little bit of Botox, like, I mean, we just never had that.
No, I was thinking that too on my way here. Even I was like, you know, if girls in high school or whatever would have been getting fillers or like implants, it's like you would have been made fun of so bad. Now it's just like these teenagers are getting it done in like a BBL. Nobody even, I mean, that wasn't even an option. You know? It's like, it's just such a different experience for, I mean, even college girls. It's like, it's such a different experience than it was for us like 10, 12.
And even not even the fact of like, oh, we didn't grow up super wealthy. Right. Even the people that did back when we were
they
teens
still looked
and early
like
20s.
Us.
Yeah, like they did. They weren't getting all this stuff done. It's just a very strange thing. And like, just with makeup, like we were saying too, like everything is so attainable for them with like being able to go to Sephora or get all these great brands and have these amazing skincare routines. Like we were the weird ones in school because we would wear sunscreen every day. Like it was not something
you were
that
not
was
doing that. No, the girls were not doing that. The guy, I mean, it was just such a different experience.
We were wearing eye makeup with no base. Like that's all we would wear.
And even like I remember getting like Bare Minerals. It was still like swirl tap buff. You weren't like contouring. You weren't putting your eyebrows on.
Right. And like literally just the powder concealer. Like, oh yeah, that really helped me.
Like, I was looking real good. It's and I know people say that all the time. Like there's such a difference between, you know, when they grew up and the kids now. But I mean, this is like
it's dramatic,
next level.
I think.
Yes. Like it's just not, I don't know. It's just hard for like I guess like 30-year-olds to like watch Alix Earle and think.
What it is.
Yeah, it's like I think like I thought her episode was fun. I thought the part with her friends was kind of weird just because
I thought it was unnecessary.
I don't watch her TikToks religiously to know who those people are.
And again, that was something that you had to watch.
Yeah, because like, you wouldn't have known who was talking.
Yeah, right. And I think that she even put pictures up. I'm like, well,
I know.
I'm not watching this.
And I don't know if she's going to have like people come in like all the time, just like different people that, because she made it sound like she was going to do like, she just wanted people, she didn't want to interview people. Yeah. She just wanted to have people that are like her family and friends to like come on and talk. But
I don't know. It's just like, and I appreciate like with the whole Drake story, how she's like, I want to kind of like take down the veil, and I have all these other stories where things aren't really as what they seem. And then she talked about the thing with that athlete that she's kind of in an entanglement right now.
Are they still together?
I think that they are. Together. Yeah, like they're just casually dating, I guess. I mean, because she said, like, yeah, I'll be going to more Miami games and all this stuff.
She did say that. Yeah. So that's, it's just weird for me to like, and I think, like I said, the stories are interesting and funny, and
I just don't think I'm going to listen because, like
I'm
you
just
said,
not the demographic for it.
Right. We're not. And it feels, for me, even though, I mean, Alex Cooper is 29, so she's a year younger than us. And even when she was like going out with her, I'm like, is this a little weird?
I know. And I almost felt like and I'm not even making fun of her or anything, but she did seem like kind of like an old lady partying with the youngsters. Like, I don't know.
But that's like how it would be for like us too, and how we feel sometimes. Like my one friend's like younger sister before has been like, oh, come out with me and my friends. I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I am weird. Old. And she's like, no, it's not weird at all. Come on. I'm like, but I feel weird.
I know when I was on that one bachelorette party, even though I was pregnant, I was like the young kids out on the I was like, I feel so old.
Right.
Like, so old. I can't even look at them.
I know. It's just, so being a 30-year-old, I don't think I'm going to listen to Hot Mess.
I know. Maybe a couple of times, but unless I see something that intrigues me.
Yeah.
But I did think the one thing, I was just going to say this last thing I thought was funny when she was talking, I think it was in Alex Cooper's episode, where she was talking about how she got the ick from that guy.
Oh, yeah, where he smiled.
Just like, I was making a drink, and then I looked over and he was smiling, and I was like, no, like, get out of here. That made me laugh. I was like, that's funny. I did it too. Last thing, sorry. I did like how she was kind of like, listen, I'm young and I don't want to have a boyfriend right now, but I'm having fun. And I just thought that was kind of like, I feel like a young girl would really appreciate hearing that.
I agree. But also, I mean, and I completely agree with like not being tied down. Like, why? You don't need to be. Just have fun, especially if you're a hot young influencer. Right. But so many of the things she was saying about like why she like doesn't commit in relationship, I'm like, daddy issues.
I know.
Daddy issues.
Thinking that too. Like, I know. I'm like at a certain point, I feel like we need to be a little like alarmed. Right. Like I feel like she's got a lot of stuff to work on.
Yeah, and even the thing that like hit me was when she was like, my toxic trait is that I will just ghost you. Like I just will never speak to you ever again. I'm like, okay, but can you say how like I recognize how that can be so hurtful?
I know.
Like, she's just like,
I'm over it.
Yeah, I just get over it. I'm like, okay, but like, and it's different if it was like a one night stand versus, but if it's somebody that you've been like seeing for a while.
But honestly, I used to kind of do that.
Yeah, but you were like such a dater. Like,
I know, but it just like, I was like, girl, I love that about you. But anyway, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Again, we're not the demographic, so.
No, and I'm also just kind of jaded by the whole thing because it's like, obviously we're a small little podcast. Well, that's the thing too. Like,
she doesn't even need Alex Cooper to do this,
and she really doesn't need a podcast. Like, does she want a Like, she could do what she's doing right now on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly, or YouTube vlogs.
Yeah, I could see her podcasts not even being like long form. I mean, this first one was like 45 minutes, and even later or these shorter ones, I could see her just saying these little stories. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously good for her. She's bringing money in. Like, the collab with Alex Cooper makes sense. Right. But I'm still just a little annoyed. Of course. Another celebrity that got a podcast. And then when I looked her up on Spotify to listen, it was like she already had like thousands upon thousands of reviews. And I'm like, we can't even get 10.
I know, right?
Speaking of, if you're listening, please be sure to give us reviews, positives, 5 stars, comment.
Little interaction, please.
You wanted to comment about Scientology.
I just wanted to make just a little observation after the whole Danny Masterson thing. Yeah. About how obsessed with celebrities Scientology is. Yes. Even freaking F-list celebrities.
I know.
They will just fight to the end to keep these people in their midst. And it's like, obviously Danny Masterson had more of a career back before. But
what has he even done?
Well, then I looked up his thing. And like back in the day, he was doing like 3 movies a year. Okay. None I had ever heard of. But even now, I mean, it's been forever. Right. And even like with Leah Remini, and obviously she had a lot of fame but that was literally all she did, basically, was King and Queens. And it was like the way, like, I get Tom Cruise, like, he's obviously very successful, but just any little bit of celebrity they can get, they will just I don't even
till
know.
Their dying day.
Yes, they will keep those celebrities in their midst. And then apparently Danny Masterson is really high up allegedly. And it's
really? I didn't know that.
That's what I heard from, I think one of the girls said it.
I mean, I guess it would make sense.
I know. It's just like that I don't know. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, they are just obsessed.
It's kind of weird. It's really weird.
It's just bizarre.
But I guess if like, you know, they have so many celebs that are in their higher rankings, then it just to be more powerful.
And then it makes people more intrigued by it. But it's like, I feel like it's kind of backfiring on them.
It is. I know. Seriously, though, I heard that on another podcast. It was on Turtle Time. They were talking about like the Bethany thing and how just with Danny Masterson and all this stuff. And they're like, I feel like, you know, Hollywood is kind of becoming unveiled and all this stuff. And it's really is. I hope that some of the things that have been rumors, and even just if we're to speak about like the Bravo universe, some of the things that like Bethany's thrown out, like, I hope that they're not true. But like,
it's like,
when you hear like some of this stuff that's been coming out recently, you're like, well, I mean,
it's probably true.
I know. And then when you know that so many Scientologists are involved in Hollywood and like are like higher ups in different companies, you're like, ooh,
it's getting a little sketchy out here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know. It's definitely, I don't know, not how it seems.
No, it's a weird,
wild.
Weird time.
It is.
To kind of wrap up like our celebrity recap, just touching base quickly on Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner because we talked about it in a previous episode.
Yes.
We don't really want to comment a lot on it because
it's still really unfolding.
Yeah, but I mean, the most recent thing that happened was the custody thing that Sophie alleged that Joe was basically holding the children hostage and kidnapped them.
And
yeah. I mean, this is going to be a nasty divorce, it sounds like.
It does seem like that. And I just like don't even know what to think. And it's like, I don't know if, again, like is some of this rumor, but then you're like looking at actual like court paperwork and like, but then it's kind of like you kind of have to have court paperwork when you're dealing with kids and everything. So it's like,
but then to counter what Sophie said, Joe had the court paperwork that, you know, from Florida when he filed and saying like, this is where the kids need to be. And it's against the ruling for them to go anywhere else. Like, I don't know. It just seems, it's odd because it seems very out of character for the two of them to be in like kind of a beat down, drag out
nasty divorce.
Yeah. And I guess it's just so odd because they were two people that were not, you know, big in the public eye. And now this whole divorce is unfolding in the public eye so dramatically. And then we kind of talked before about Sophie being out with Taylor Swift.
Now it's getting in her head.
As of Saturday, there's 2 sightings of them.
Now they're with the Haim sisters. And it's like, I think he did it, but I just can't prove it.
But isn't it? I saw Amanda from Not Skinny Not Fat say like, you know, this might be an unpopular opinion, but does anybody think it's kind of weird how like suddenly Taylor like swooped in? And I know that they had kind of hung out before, but like they never really seemed like friends. So I kind of thought that too. I'm like, well, yeah, they have done things before, but it's not like Sophie was in her core group or anything.
It does feel like a statement.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's like a Sophie thing too, like just like this full statement.
But it's just kind of silly as a statement because it's like essentially Taylor Swift was like a high school fling of Joe Jonas. You know, they weren't in a serious relationship. And he broke up with her with a voicemail or a phone call or whatever. It's like, okay, that was literally a million years ago. Like, I wouldn't fly to the defense of somebody. But then
it's kind of like one of those things too. Now the paparazzi's following her, so now everybody's gonna be like, "She's out with Taylor Swift. She's out with Taylor Swift."
Well, of course, because Taylor Swift gets photographed all the time, and I don't know. It's just like I don't know how to feel about it. You know.
I know it's getting nasty. I know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this continues. And it's like, it seemed like it was like back being civilized. They're like, don't believe anything unless you hear it. They put out the joint statement, and now it's like, he's kidnapping the kids and she's kidnapping the kids.
And that's like a crazy accusation to make, you know? Like, that's a big thing.
I can't even like, that gives me like anxiety. Like,
I know.
The fact that they're like fighting over the kids, like that is, and like, what do you do? One's like, they're literally in different countries. I know. And they're like, no, the kids need to be with me.
It's kind of the same as Olivia Wilde and
that was another
Jason
nasty
Sudeikis.
thing.
Yeah, where, I mean, she was all in with Harry Styles and wanted to move over there and wanted to have the kids, and then talking about LA, New York. Like, it was kind of...
And he was like, no.
Right.
Ooh.
So I don't know. But it is weird. It's a little bit different with this because Sophie Turner is from England.
Right.
Are they going to just have transcontinental children? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. But yeah, that's just developing. I guess I don't really have like a stance on it. It's I'm kind of shocked.
I know. I'm really surprised. I'm like, but they aren't like that. So
yeah. To be continued.
I guess so. Should we take a little break?
Take a little break. Yes. And we're back.
We're ready to talk about the Daddy Diaries by Andy Cohen.
Yeah, this is kind of like a baby book club, a mini book club, because
it was definitely a different format. So it literally was his diary.
Yeah. And we didn't read the Andy Cohen diaries.
No.
So
I do wish I did, though. It sounds like it was juicy.
I know. Maybe I will go back and do that. Also, one thing I wanted to say about it. So when I was reading Selma Blair's book, I listened to that on like 1.25 speed.
I know, right?
Towards the end, especially because I just needed to fly through that. Yes. And then I guess it just stayed that way for Andy Cohen's, but I didn't realize it. So like I thought that he was just speaking fast, which sometimes he does anyway. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is great. And the pace was like really good and it still made sense. But then I put it back down to like one. I listened to like half the book on fast 1.25. And then I went back to normal and I'm like, oh my God, I can't even listen to this. It's like he's speaking like he's walking through molasses.
I know. I like to speed up a lot of my books that I read too.
I know. I mean, it's hard to, like, you can't go too much because then it just kind of distorts their voice.
I know, and then you can't even process what they've said.
But I would recommend to anyone out there listening to this on 1.25 is, I think it's solid. Yeah.
I just want to point this out right at he talks about that call scam amongst so that's real. I thought that was just because when I watched the Jersey reunion, I thought Teresa was just like BSing around.
I know, but it is real.
That's like, and it's so like just the Bravo people.
I know,
like,
but then like a couple other random people, like Joy Behar.
Yeah, it's like you're calling, like who is doing that?
And how do you even do it where like both of them get a call from the other person?
Yeah, and it's like from their number, their caller ID, and then people like argue about it. Like, you called me. Like, no, I didn't.
I know. That was really weird. That happened multiple times. He brought it up in the...
Yeah, I was like, so this is like a real thing because I had been out of the Bravo.
And he said it's been years that it's been going on.
Which is just wild, but I just thought that was interesting.
Overall, I thought that this was a fun book. It was... just enjoyable to listen to. I actually liked the diary format a lot.
So did I. I kind of wish... I mean, what was it? It was from like 2021 to 2022?
Yeah, like the kind of New Year. It just started like New Year's, like January 22 through December 22.
Okay. Yeah, so it was like... Yeah, I really liked it too. I loved the diary thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wish... I don't know, it kept it interesting, but as far as like being able to take extensive like notes,
yeah, we can't really break it down.
Yeah, because it'd be like, I went out to dinner with John Mayer, and then I went here, and then I filmed this reunion. It was like so much coming at you,
and then
once.
It would be like Wednesday, and then it would be like had some great Lucy time,
right?
Thursday, like it was just. But I really did like it though, and
I did.
I thought it was just cool too that he actually does, or I don't know if he does it all the time or if it's just for like when he is planning on writing these books, but keeping a diary and writing down what you did every day.
I know. I thought
that's cool. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I should do that. But then I'm like, well, my life isn't as interesting as Andy Cohen's.
I stared at the wall.
Yeah. Like
tomorrow I will also stare at the wall.
Right. Like it's just not doable to do it every day.
Yeah, and he definitely has a very interesting life. You know, he's like in the mix of everything. Like I just feel like his life is more interesting to read about than mine.
I know. It was like sometimes some of the things that he said he did get like really real, especially with raising the kids.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting and I appreciated. And I imagine for, you know, a single gay man who is with his status and has the financial freedom that he has, going from being a singular to then adding 2 kids is a huge change.
No, I thought that was actually kind of awesome. Like he wanted to be a dad and like just did it by himself. And I was like, wow, that is just, and obviously he has like a nanny and stuff. But I mean, really, it didn't seem like he had like a night nurse or like a day nurse for the baby and a nanny. And that, I mean, that's really, it seemed like all he used, and his parents are both really old.
Right.
And it's like,
and they don't even live in New York. Yeah. I mean, there were definitely some parts, especially when he's like, yeah, I went out to dinner with so-and-so. And it's like, okay, well, the average person can't do that because they have to be home with their kid.
Right. But they don't have the nanny.
Yeah. But I mean, I think for him to completely change his lifestyle would be unrealistic. Right. You know, like.
And it does still seem like, I don't know, like he actually is still really involved. Yeah. Like I loved hearing that he has to lay in the bed with his oldest son. I was like,
because you do that.
It's not just me. I was like, gosh, I love it. It was just kind of like, I don't know, humbling to think that he really just like, he's in the midst of it as well, even though he does have a lot of help.
And also hearing him have his little like mini meltdowns or freakouts like with the kids. He's like had a horrible fight with Ben over something so stupid, and he's like shares that he gets frustrated. Like the one that was so funny was when they were in the Hamptons or wherever they are, and Ben wouldn't come in to take a bath and Andy just had a day with him and he had enough, and he was like, fine, I don't even care. You can stay out there and be
play
dirty.
Outside.
Yeah, and he shut the door, and then he was like, oh my God, like what have I done? Like he probably thinks I'm crazy.
And he's like, comes back out, hi honey, I was just joking.
And then he's like, he probably thinks that was even creepier than what I did. Those are funny.
I know, he had a lot of cool moments like that where it's like, dang it, I regret what I just said. And then it's like, goes back and like apologizes to his kids. I thought that was really cool too.
And that's so too.
It seems like a lot of people don't like apologize to their kids, and it was just cool.
And even though Ben is like, he probably is around the same age as your oldest son.
Sounded like he was.
Yeah. But it's like he can't fully understand everything, or you know, he's not gonna
short-term memory.
Yeah, he's not gonna process how you do. But I thought it was interesting, and he's like, he really does talk to Ben as if he is like an educated child, and like I'm gonna speak to him at my level instead of, you know, like I think that's kind of important to do with kids sometimes.
Yeah, I thought I really liked what he did. I did think some of the interesting part was like the surrogate thing.
Yeah.
And how, I don't know, it's just, I guess I don't know a whole lot about surrogacy, or like if everybody's different, if sometimes you don't really talk. Like, I don't know, I just couldn't picture like the Kardashians like talking to their surrogates the way he would talk to her. And the fact that the husband of the surrogate was in the room with her was like, I guess that totally makes sense.
Right.
Like I was like,
why wouldn't he be?
That's so crazy to think. I guess obviously surrogates can be married, but it was just weird to actually like think about like, oh, this woman's just like pregnant with somebody else's kid, but in like a different way.
Yeah.
And I wish we could have heard a little bit more about the surrogate process and like the egg retrieval, because I wondered if his kids were from like the same batch of embryos or what.
Well, they do look pretty similar.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
maybe they were, but I don't know if they like kind of look like him. I don't know, but I'm assuming it's all.
I'm assuming they do, but I guess I don't know.
I don't know what the mom.
Yeah.
The egg donor looks like.
What was some of the stuff, like I wish I knew a little bit more about like everything in the Bravo universe, because some of the things that he said, I'm like, well, I don't know anything
like
about
Jen
those
Shaw.
people. Yeah, like, and
I didn't really. I've heard.
I know about it,
yeah.
but I don't like. I didn't watch Salt Lake, but I guess side note, like I told you, I've heard that this season is pretty juicy, and they talk about a lot of the Mormon stuff. So I'm kind of wanting to watch, not necessarily to like dive in on the podcast.
Was Heather gay on that one?
I think there is a Heather, yeah.
Because I read her or listened to her book a while back, and she was like the Mormon thing, but I didn't really know anything about her. Yeah, and I was just listening to it.
I don't know everybody that's on there. Yeah, but anyway, and then you know how he kind of talked with like Tamra and Vicky, and they brought Tamra back, and Vicky was upset. And I think it's cool that he like will text with the housewives like all the time.
I know that it's like they're all his like I feel like they're always like Andy, like going to him for stuff.
I know, but it was just kind of like just his little inside scoop on stuff. And then, when he said, where was he? Over at Cannes or something. And there was like a reporter there, and he's like, okay, so what housewives like spill the most tea and like leak the most stories to you? And they're kind of like aloof about it and like, oh, well, you got to guess or whatever. And then he did, and he's like, well, I can't tell you guys, but they're probably who you would expect, and they're from Roni.
I know. I loved all that little stuff. It's definitely like this book is good for people who love Bravo stuff.
But if you don't, then like there's, I don't know, unless you just love Andy Cohen.
I know, you definitely would be kind of out of the loop, even like because we've been out of the housewife world. But I still like hear the names and stuff. But it was such a good like we recorded this reunion. Like that was, I just loved hearing that.
I know, me too. And he really has so many like prongs in the fire. Like he is such a busy man, and I guess he just. Because he hasn't been famous like his entire adult life, you know, like I feel like it really has been in more, you know, the past maybe 20 years.
Right, that's what I would have guessed. I wonder, like, I would love to hear like how he got involved with all this, and obviously this was in the book for that, but it made me want more.
I know, like I said, I would go back and read the Andy Cohen Diaries.
I know, and like I've seen he has a couple of
he just, it's like he's always has something, or he's on a call, or he's doing a shoot for this, or he's, you know, like he just was so busy all the time.
I know. It was like I loved it. But I mean, I guess if you really like wrote down your life, it would maybe feel busier, even though it doesn't feel like it would. But his life just seems so like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Fun.
I know. And I loved hearing the John Mayer stuff.
I know. John Mayer is like I love when he pops up in memoirs and like celebrity stuff, because it's just so funny. Even though he seems like not the best to be in a relationship with, but like
Andy loves John Mayer. Like he
definitely seems to be very charming when he needs to be. But yeah, those are good.
I thought, remember when he said like, I took this photo of John when we were at dinner and I just posted it, and like the women went wild, and he's like, it was a good picture. I went back on his Instagram and found it. Yeah, it was a really good picture. I
scrolled his Instagram a little bit too, because I wanted to see the kids.
Yeah, they're cute little things.
Cute. It's so sweet.
I know.
He also is really good friends with BJ Novak.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of random.
There were a lot of people too that he would just say like first names of.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I know who that is.
I know. I was like, is that who I think it is too? I can't remember all of them because I didn't write them down. I was like, wait, that's sweet.
And I loved hearing everything with Sarah Jessica Parker.
I know. Yeah, that was another big friend. It's like, oh yeah, just
and I forgot that they were so close.
I know.
Kelly
Ripa, it's like all of them, they're all good friends.
And then everything that we heard about when he was getting the new apartment, like, obviously that was totally unattainable and unrelatable for us, but I thought it was interesting how he was like, it's just so much money, and like, I don't know if I want to commit to that. Like, I'm really getting sticker shock. And even after he did commit to it, he's like, did I make the right decision? Like, even though the money, like the value of it is not the same realm as what we live in, like that is something that like the everyday person experiences.
Like, I know, it was very relatable. And then he's like the back and forth. I also thought, I mean, he overall is really relatable. Like, I love the way he's like, man, I really screwed up when I said that. Yeah. And like, he talked a lot about like online hate that he gets for saying stuff. And I thought that was really,
or even when he does Radio Andy, or he would do, well, he'd be like, I think everything I said was okay. And then he'd come back and be like, I ended up getting some hate. Yeah. So he's like, should I put out a statement? I don't know. Like, it was a very honest, or what I think is honest, I guess. It could not be, but it felt honest.
Yeah, it felt like he like owned up to mistakes, and he also was like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that, but I kind of still stand by it. Like, just different stuff like that. And I just really, I don't know, it was such a refresher compared to some of the other
heavier books that we did. Yeah, it was just fun and lighthearted.
I know, and it made me, I mean, I'm not like an obsessed fan, but I did make me like him more. And I already liked him, but I didn't know that much about him. But this made me like him even more. I wanted more from him.
I liked everything with the New Year's thing because I watched, not this past year, but the year before New Year, where they were so drunk, and that's when they got in trouble. And it was just so fun. Like, it was just off the wall. Like,
I know. And it's like, at the end of the day, just let freaking people have fun, as long as you're not being offensive.
I know, but it was funny to just hear him kind of go through the makings of the New Year's show, and then the little beef with Seacrest.
I know.
That was funny.
Wasn't there a couple other like little beefs that he like pointed out? I can't remember them, but it was just funny. Like,
but they're nothing like big. No. It was just like
fine then.
Yeah, I liked it. He was a little sassy. When I was interning in New York, I saw Andy Cohen, and I was coming out of a CVS, and he was walking his dog.
He really seems like he's just out and about. Yeah, I mean, he's out walking, he's out moving around. Like, I feel like if you wanted to find him, you could find him.
I know. I wish I would have like said something. I think he had earbuds in, but I wish I would have been like, Andy, but it would happen so fast.
He also seems like he doesn't like to be bothered, though.
I know. Yeah.
So maybe it was better that
I think I would have, when I heard that, I was like, oh, what would I do? I think if we were stopped at like a light together, I might have just been like, I really love
just like a little whisper. Like, I like you. Okay, bye. Yeah. And like, if he didn't have the kids, it'd be like,
if he didn't, I wouldn't say anything if he had the kids, unless I had kids too. Right. But yeah, it was a good book. I would recommend anybody who is like entwined in the Bravo universe.
You definitely would enjoy it. It was fun. It was funny. I laughed.
I did laugh.
It was good. It was good. It was just nice book.
It was good. But yeah, it's not really one that we can like totally tear apart or anything. It was just like, I really don't have anything bad to say about it though. It just was enjoyable and fun.
It was a nice read.
Yeah. And I hope that he does another one.
I know. I'd love to hear, especially after like he does like mention BravoCon, which would have happened with the Scandival stuff. And it was just like, God. Just the way he like was like, and Sandoval and blah, blah, blah were there. And I was like, dun, 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 dun.
I would love for him to like write a book just about this past year.
I know.
Like,
and there's been so much drama.
Yeah, he has to.
I know. I'd love to know like just his thoughts on some of that, or if he was so shocked about like everything, like the Teresa Jersey housewife thing.
Just one, I guess it doesn't have to be the last thing, but I just thought about it in relation to the kids. Like, I feel like he is just everything that he talks about with like raising them and his feelings surrounding the children, and like the things that he does with them and how he spends time, but then how it's also hard being like the single gay dad, and he feels like he doesn't fit in sometimes. Like, I found that just nice to hear, not because I want him to feel that way, but just because it was like, it was like, wow, like he does feel that way, and he's sharing it, and that is.
And it was nice too to hear it from somebody who was older too, like as an older person, and be like, hey, I don't have it all figured out. Hey, I don't always feel like I belong.
Right, because there are so many people who feel that same way, or especially like older parents. It's like they feel kind of out of place, or just parents in general, where it's like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Like he just really owns it, and I thought it was great that he was willing to share that part of him. I love that
too. Yeah, he was just so real in this book, and just about all that. And I mean, it definitely is a lot about the parenting thing with like the Daddy Diaries, obviously, but it was just kind of fun, but it wasn't an annoying way.
No, it wasn't.
Like, here are my kids, everything's perfect, they changed my life in the best way. It's like
it wasn't. He was like,
this is hard, man.
Yeah. Like I had a terrible night last night.
Like letting the kids cry. And then he's talking about letting his daughter cry it out. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
How long? 30 minutes to 3 hours. He's like, what do I do? But,
I know, so like you said, it made me like him more and want to know more about him. So
that's a fun guy.
Speaking of Bravo, we can kind of wrap up our episode by talking about OC.
And next week is the finale,
which looked like more of the same, honestly.
Fighting.
We kind of have to go over both episodes from this past week and last, but honestly, they were very similar episodes.
I know. I think like the main thing is Tamra being awful to Jen.
Tamra is just from 2 weeks ago. First of all, I wanted to say like poor Heather. That's how it kind of started, and then this continues into the next episode, so we can kind of just talk about that more then. But I just wrote more Tamra lies and deceit, like because that's all that it is with her.
I know, or even like. Okay, so the previous episode when she's screaming and yelling at Jen all over again, she's like, she's got her fake clothes, she's being fake.
What was up with that? With the purses, like that's fake. That's Poochie. That's
who cares?
That is so mean.
It was so mean. She was saying the meanest. She's like, she's wearing all this fake designer thing. Well, yeah, because she has to put up with freaking people.
She has to try to fit in with you guys.
It was so mean.
And like, who are you to call that out?
I know. And like, why are you saying that now? Why are you going on and on about Ryan again? It's like, who? Like at this point, it's like, why are you so mad about that? And even like when Vicky's stepping in and being like, stop it, Tamra. And like even Shannon was like, come on, like knock it off.
Yeah.
Of course that changes later.
I know. I just felt bad for Jen yet again, but it was nice that she stood up for herself.
Yeah. I mean, you can only push somebody so far, I guess. My God.
I mean, it's
just awful.
It's getting ridiculous at this point. But yeah, I don't know. And it's also like Tamra is digging for this stuff. You know that she is. You know that she's the one that reached out to that woman.
Like I don't know, she's threatened by Jen. Like,
I don't know what
what's going on.
Is it just because like Jen is new and Tamra's coming back and she feels like I have to assert my dominance?
And because they're in a weird, I mean, they look very similar, so I don't know if it's like,
is this the new? Is Jen the new? They're not even on the same level.
And they're totally different people anyway. So it's just, I don't know, it's weird.
It was weird. Yeah. Okay, guys, we are really excited to announce another collaboration with the brand Happy Earth. They make the cutest clothes and they are sustainable and made really responsibly. We are getting an order in soon, so we're really excited to show you guys some of their cute fashions, especially with the temperatures cooling down here in Ohio for fall. These are going to be so perfect. So they have everything from organic sweatshirts to organic joggers, really cute graphic tees, and the best part about this brand is that they actually give
give back to the environment. So with every purchase, you are helping to fight climate change, plant trees, and even clean up trash. So for a nice discount, you guys can use Emotional Support Water Bottle Pod at checkout for a wonderful 20% off. That's at happyearthapparel.com. Use code Emotional Support Water Bottle Pod for 20% off at checkout.
What else was in here? Oh, I thought it was a weird half, not even real apology when, you know, the whole Emily Heather thing was happening, and then the next day Emily's like, if you felt that I was being rude at your party, then I'm sorry. That's not an apology.
No. But you said that Shannon was talking crap about me.
If you felt that way, I guess I'm sorry.
No, when there's HDs all over everything.
Emily
really
I'm surprised by this behavior from her, and it
it's
continues into the next episode.
Like even worse, my gosh.
Yeah,
I don't remember as much from the previous.
Because I really liked Emily, and now I'm just like, I don't know. I just wrote kind of like a preface to the next episode, like. Does Gina really have Heather's back? We find out no, she clearly does not. And then the comment heard around the world about a snuffleupagus. This was so absurd. Like it literally cut back to Emily saying, oh, I need to do something with my hair. Like I have no idea what I'm going to do. And it was kind of like dry looking, a little crazy looking because of where they were. And Heather says, you look like a snuffleupagus.
Yeah, not you big fat cow, you elephant.
It was about her hair. Like, that infuriated me.
Or the cookie comment, like, here's your cookies. And it ended up being because they were shaped like boobs.
Right.
It's like, she called you fat that time,
ridiculous.
too. It's like, no, she didn't. I know. It was like, she took to, like, I just felt like Emily and Gina... this like last episode were completely delusioned.
Oh, I know.
Like I'm like, are we living in the same universe? I love the editing though, like the receipts.
Oh, I know.
Sorry, I just love that.
I know how Bravo just like pops in like the black and white, then it's like flashback. I know, but the snuffleupagus comment again extended on into the next episode, and it was just like, are we serious right now? Like,
you're still calling me a big fat elephant?
Like,
no,
she didn't say that.
Big fat elephant.
It's so stupid. They randomly saw the Cirque du Soleil. The first time I watched it, I guess I was like half watching, and I like missed the part where they were like, we're going to bring you to a private showing of Cirque du Soleil. And I only saw them like at Cirque du Soleil with no one around. I'm like, wow, like this show
it's gone downhill.
Yeah. I'm not really impressed by it anyway. Like, I don't know. Would you ever go to a Cirque du Soleil
We actually
show?
did. I went to the water one when we went to Vegas, and I thought it was pretty cool. But it was the water.
Yeah, the water one. I feel like it depends on where you see it, and like, and also anything in Vegas, I think is like bigger and better and
right. And like I don't know if I think it was like the Beatles music or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think I would have liked that one, but the water, I liked it because it was cool because it felt like you were in the water.
Yeah, like that is cool.
They were doing like the jumps into the water and the diving.
But like, would I go out of my way when I was in Mexico to go to a Cirque du Soleil performance? No, I wouldn't.
Because I didn't realize there was some down there. Honestly.
I didn't either. And then the episode kind of ended with Vicky dropping bombs randomly at Jen at dinner.
Yeah.
Or at the truth or dare thing.
They were like at dinner like 36 times.
Yeah.
While they're in Mexico, and we're only filming when they're at dinner.
And that was really random. And I do think that Vicky, first of all, I like her being there. I think it was needed just all around. And I think that her bringing this up isn't necessarily to like cause issues or to be like hurtful. I think that she is genuinely like, I made mistakes like this and I don't want someone else to. But I also think that she is polluted by Tamra.
Yeah, I know. That was the thing too. And it's kind of like that advice would have worked out better a couple years ago than right now. But but yeah, I get what she was saying.
But it was just so, I mean, going
back.
But
none of them know Jen. So it's kind of like for you to say that you don't know the situation. It was
random. Yeah, right. It was random.
She had already taken a beating.
Right. So then we kind of go
Somehow it flipped to Heather. I don't know in what instance this flipped to Heather.
Everything comes back to Heather.
They were just bullying the crap out of her. Are
we moving into the next episode now? Because they really blended together.
They did.
Honestly,
I don't even.
Like, I think that the first episode ended kind of with.
I think that Vicky. Yeah. No. Yeah. I was gonna say. I think the start of the new episode was when Vicky was saying that. Okay. Because it was like the preview was
for her the next week. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, everything always comes back to poor Heather. Heather's the worst thing ever. She can't ever say anything right.
And then the part where the whole fight of the Shannon, Heather telling Emily that Shannon talked about her, and Gina in I don't know, whatever episode that was like, no, she said it was Tamra. And then for her to watch over and over and over again them Emily saying, well, she said Shannon said that, was just beyond.
I know.
And I get like, so you don't want to then be like, no, it was Tamra that said it, or that she said Tamra said it. But at the same time, you're letting Shannon get all upset again for no reason. And then,
well, that's what made me mad, because Gina literally said, like, 2 episodes prior, I'm pretty sure that she said Tamra, not Shannon.
Right.
Well, Gina, why didn't you step in and say something? Especially like, now, it's gone on for like multiple days on this trip, and you've just sat by idly.
Still.
Like, you don't have Heather's back.
No. And it was like, I get that point where you don't want to be like, well, actually she said Tamra, and then get Tamra in the mix. But at the same time, it was coming up over and over and over and over and over again. And you're not saying anything. And then at the end, finally, Heather did say, no, I said Tamra. And then they were all like talking about something
It was so weird. It was, well, and then Heather was like, I didn't really realize that like this story got flipped around. Like I thought that Emily was just making something up.
So she's like, yeah, that's why I said I didn't say it, because you're making it.
But it was, so then finally everything kind of comes to a head at this treetop dinner or whatever, and it just turns into a screaming match. And then they're talking about these 2 previous like friend ofs. I don't even know who they were.
So that's who she was talking about. She wasn't even talking to.
But it was so crazy because Gina and Emily, like you said, just were in this warped universe. They had their blinders on.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times Heather said, I wasn't talking about you. Right. I wasn't calling you losers. I was talking about Noella and whoever the other person was. It was like, well, why would you say that about me?
I know. It's like, I didn't. Oh my God. I know. I was like, Gina is absolutely delusional. And then she's like, but you weren't a good friend. You called me a loser.
Yeah. She's like, I didn't call you that.
And then it was like Tamra. Then Tamra she goes, no, I said Tamra was talking crap about you. And then Tamra goes, you said these 2 were losers.
Yeah,
she's
know.
She's like, no, I said these other 2 people were losers. And then, no.
Everything got spun around. And then Tamra's like, you're trying to spin it around on me. Well, you're the one that said it. It's just, it was so absurd. And then we kind of like jumped straight into this. But
that was the main.
Yeah. And then Vicky is like, leaves the table dramatically. And she's like, I literally, like, what did she say? She said,
like, I don't do this. I feel bad for women.
It's very uncomfortable to be around people fighting. I've never liked it. It's not who I am. And when she said that, I literally was like, what?
You're like her yelling at Gretchen over and over again.
I know. But I mean, I do feel like maybe Vicky is actually in a better place now, because she was on Housewives for so long. I know.
I believe that she's like that, and that probably was a little traumatic.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It really, that behavior was ridiculous. Like, I would have left the table too. And Heather's saying like, I'm done with the show. Like, when earlier with the whole snuffleupagus thing being brought up again, and then it got brought up about Instagram and how you don't follow us on Instagram. It's like they are just picking and picking and picking, and she was like, I want to go home.
And she literally said, I didn't follow you on Instagram anymore because I wasn't on the show anymore, and it made me feel left out.
I don't think this is weird at all. If I like had a falling out with somebody, or I didn't work with somebody anymore and it was upsetting to see like where they are, like whatever, I would unfollow them or hide their stuff.
Especially if you're a public figure.
Yes, I absolutely would do that. And then Gina's like, it's a personal thing. Like when you're friends with somebody, like I like everybody's stuff. Okay, Gina, well, that's because you want to be on everybody's side all the time. Like I don't do that. I don't just like everybody's stuff because I want to keep the peace.
So everything that everyone was coming at Heather was such a projection. It was like, yeah, you are going to think she's calling you a loser, Gina, because you're not poor, sometimes. But you're the poorest.
Yeah. Or like, obviously that's what you're self-conscious about.
And Emily was self-conscious about her weight. It seemed like she wasn't, but then when she's obviously, like taking everything like, oh, you're trying to feed me cookies because I'm a big old fatty.
It's like, come on. And then, so then they went to do their little shopping trip or go to a shaman, which Tamra and Jen making nice at the shaman was just a complete and utter joke. Like that was just
and then Tamra
dumb.
Cries and says sorry.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we heard that already this season?
To Jen.
To Jen. And then she brings up the exact same thing again. But with with Heather confiding in Taylor, I don't know, like, do you think that was a good idea?
No.
I don't think that
I think Taylor's going to use it against her.
No, but I just feel like she, she can do nothing right. So confiding in anybody, it doesn't matter. But Taylor was spot on, and she said exactly what we've said. Like, they think that they're inferior to you because of the money. It's about the money. That's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think I've heard on other podcasts too that they're saying that exact same thing. It's like, it's not Heather's, like she shouldn't apologize for her lifestyle. But
she even said that too. She's like, well, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, but these women are jealous of her. And I think that they do feel like like you said, everything that they do is a projection, and they've said all the time, you're just uppity, you think you're better than us. No, like you guys think that she is better than you. Like that's what it is. Yep. And Heather's just being herself. It's not her fault that she's married to a multi-millionaire surgeon.
And just got a bunch of money for a house. But the next episode is definitely going to be more fighting.
A couple things that were kind of funny that weren't about the fight was Vicky talking about getting a happy ending at massage. I was not expecting that to go. And she said it happened twice. Like that was crazy. And I don't know if you see it because it was where they talked about it more was in like a never before seen on the Peacock. Like, do you see that?
I went on my YouTube TV. It has episodes that are never before seen, but I never watch them.
Oh, okay. So those are what I watch just because I watch the Peacock like reruns, and they only have the never before seen. But it was like a whole long segment when they were on the boat and talking about how she's like detailing what happens when she got the happy endings, and Heather's like, wait, I'm trying to understand like exactly, and I'm like, thank you for asking questions, Heather, because like, I would like to know too. Right. Yeah, that was just crazy. And Vicky's like, it just happened and like it felt good. So the other thing, did you see when like what were they doing? They like Heather's group was doing the thing in the air.
Oh, the parasailing.
Yeah, the parasailing. And then the other group with Shannon and Tamra was doing the turtle thing.
Oh.
Yeah. When they were in the water.
Looking underwater.
So this is just another like trope of Shannon where everything has to be like a gaggly, like drama, disaster, like she's uncoordinated. But when she was like scared to get in the water and she's like getting in the boat, she like slid all the way down and like scraped her whole body, and I'm like, I bet that really hurt because she scraped her whole body on the and then when they were at dinner like later on, she's like, look at my bruises. I'm like, yeah, you would have that because you
or when she was trying to go across the net at the dinner, and they're like, go around, and she's like, I can't do it.
Don't touch me, don't touch me. And then she's crawling on the ground with her Spanx hanging out. I'm like, what is this? Like,
she seems like she'd be a difficult mother to have.
Or a difficult friend. Like, just a difficult person to be around. It's just like that, like, slapstick physical comedy. I don't know. Was there anything else that I wrote down that was funny? Oh, again, Shannon not brushing her teeth.
That was weird.
And Vicky said 5 days. I don't know if it really was 5, but that was disgusting.
When she's like, I just used my sweater.
She's like, I didn't know like where to go, and there were all
tried.
Yeah, and then all freaking Tamra did was make a phone call.
Got the tooth.
That was disgusting.
It was funny though.
It was like, funny, but it was just like, really, that was only something that Shannon would do. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know. Oh, maybe not. What else did I write down? Oh, just, I feel like Gina contradicts herself when she's talking to Emily at the end, or she's like, oh, before she had told Emily, like, well, Heather kind of reacts the way she does because of stuff in her past. And like, I think that. And then when she's talking to Emily, she's like, I don't really care the reasoning. Why? It's like, okay, she's Gina. Delusioned. And then the worst thing was the end when Tamra was like, quote, when Heather's up against the wall, she'll throw anyone under the bus. I'm not putting up with it anymore. I'm going to have to reevaluate my friendship with her. Like, are you serious? You were the one in control
of that. Yeah, miss. I'm going to attack Jen over and over and over again.
It's just like...
when somebody says something.
Like we said towards the beginning of this season, Tamra has just like been on a rampage of how can I be relevant in this franchise again, and this is my big comeback. And it's just like every single thing that she has done this season has been so calculated and planned, and it's produced, and it's not even like enjoyable to watch because you just know it's ridiculous. I almost don't want her to be on next season, but she will be.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what they're going to do. I guess Heather's out.
Vicky Heather back. Better go to Beverly Hills. That's all. Oh, and then the last thing we can say is the Shannon DUI. I almost forgot about that.
That'll be interesting.
I can't say it was a surprise because we've spoken about the drinking on these housewives.
No, I did think the story was so Shannon.
I know.
She got out and acted like she was if that's true, she got out and acted like she was walking her dog.
So I heard on another podcast, and I guess when I saw the like footage of it, because it was in black and white, I just assumed it was at nighttime. But they said that like the timestamp on this is actually like early evening, where like people are still out and about. So there were tons of people that witnessed it all happen and then saw her just get out of her car and
dust her jacket off,
pretend like nothing happened. But I think it's concerning that Archie was in the car.
I know that I saw something recently about how she was getting like investigated about like or something with the dog.
I saw that too. First of all, why did you go out drinking and bring your dog? Like, did you leave him in the car the whole time?
Were you so drunk that you're like, hey, let's go for a ride?
Yeah, did you go home first? And then pick him up? And I have questions. Like, was the poor thing in the front seat? Was he in the back?
And where was she going? Why was she out driving?
Did you see the video?
No.
It was pretty, like, dramatic. I mean, she
expect nothing less.
So she's like coming, the video's like there's an L-shaped street and she's coming from this way
and she whips around the corner like a freaking bat out of hell. And she like overturns, and literally just slams right into the house.
And then got out and walked the dog down the street.
And then there's like a little kind of like garden curb thing that's like in front of the house. And honestly, if she wouldn't have hit that, it's like a stone thing, she could have like plowed through these people's front door or done some serious damage to the house.
Jeez.
Like it was, yeah, it's concerning. The behavior is concerning. And then I saw that like she might have broken her arm. Of course, John Jansen's involved. It's just like, Shannon, what are you doing?
It's just like, I don't know. It's just like sad. It's like we kind of like, yeah, she has a drinking problem. Everybody's got a drinking problem. Yeah. And then when they actually like get in an accident and it's like, oh, you're like that drunk during the day. And then get in a car accident and almost could have really hurt someone.
Well, I guess too, because we didn't watch last season, but when Gina had her DUI, I guess she had said to Alexis Baldino or somebody, it might not have been her, it could have not been, I could have just made that up. Her name's been floating around recently too.
I know, I have seen her name floating around and stuff.
But she said to somebody, she was like, there is no excuse for this in this day and age. Like, you should never do that. And she was so adamant about how, like, drink driving is just inexcusable and unnecessary. And then look at where she is.
And especially after she just said that thing about Gina, like, wow.
Yeah.
I could have, her kids could have gotten away or whatever, taken
now
away.
Your dog might be taken
away. I know.
Away.
It's like, well. Maybe shouldn't have said anything, I guess.
But I mean, hopefully she gets help. I mean, I don't think that she necessarily needs to go to like a full-on rehab. But if you're drinking that much when you're going through a hard time, and even stuff that they have said throughout this season so far, it's like clearly you need to reevaluate.
I know. I definitely don't think Shannon seems like well.
Yeah. I think she's putting on a good front, but it's something slipped
Especially
through.
Like when she was getting so upset about the boyfriend thing. It's like, that doesn't seem normal. But anyhow.
Well, and nothing with Shannon ever is, really. So yeah, that's our little catch up, I guess. We can do our recommendations.
I am going to go ahead and recommend the river tours in Chicago. They're a lot of fun. If you're into architecture.
It did. I feel like even if you're not, if it's a nice day, that would just be a fun thing to do.
It is. And it's kind of cool. This always just like blows my mind that people, like in the 1920s and stuff could just like build like that. I know that sounds so dumb, or even before that, just like their whole, like the way they would do the bridges and everything way back in the day. It's like, you just don't think like with all the our technology we have now and just all the advancements, it's so hard to believe that they could like build.
I know.
Like, it's just wild to me.
Yeah, it's cool to see. And then you're just down so low and all the buildings are towering over you.
And it's cool just to go through like the decades and the different styles and everything.
It's really interesting too. Like, Chicago is a unique city because it has the river that goes right in between it. So it's cool to have that there
and
too.
They take so much pride in the river and just making sure that people can enjoy it.
It's nice.
Just cool. It is nice.
I'm going to recommend a new comforter if anyone is looking for one.
College time now.
Well, it's priced a little bit higher, so I don't know if a college kid will be getting it. But I went to Target and they actually were having a sale on their Casa Luna collection, which typically they don't. So I pulled the trigger and got the linen comforter. I've been wanting a new one. So we'll see once the weather gets warm or cooler, then I can put it on the bed. But it seems like it's a nice one that's going to be nice and cozy. Nice. So I would recommend checking that out. All right, guys. Well, we love all of our little listeners. We would love it also if you would just remember to give us reviews. Please.
show your love for us by giving us 5 stars and following us on our social medias.
Yes.
And we will see you next week.